The collision alarm didn't beep. It screamed. A violent mechanical shriek ripped through the cockpit of Horizon Air 714 as the aircraft cruised 36,000 feet above the Philippine Sea. Outside the windshield, two gray shadows sliced through the clouds like sharks scenting blood. Unidentified aircraft, a cold voice crackled over the radio. You are violating restricted airspace. Turn back immediately. You have 60 seconds. First Officer Rachel Bennett didn't flinch. To her left, Captain Alan Pierce did. His hands flew to his chest, his breathing hitched. Then he slumped sideways in his seat, eyes rolling back, cardiac arrest. 36,000 feet, two hostile fighter jets, 293 passengers, one unconscious captain, and the co-pilot. Rachel's hands moved before her thoughts did. She disengaged the autopilot, adjusted thrust, stabilized altitude. Another voice exploded from behind her. Step aside. Colonel Victor Hale filled the cockpit doorway, tall, decorated, radiating command. Behind him stood three uniformed officers and a silver-haired civilian shouting something about former combat hours. This is a military matter now, Hale barked. You're just commercial flight crew. Rachel didn't turn around. Captain is down, she said calmly. We are locked by two fighters. We have less than 40 seconds before they escalate. You can assist or sit down. Silence. The lead fighter rolled close, so close she could see the pilot's visor reflect sunlight. The jet's missile racks glinted beneath its wings. The radio crackled again. Final warning! Rachel switched frequencies and answered in fluent Mandarin, not textbook Mandarin, operational Mandarin. The cockpit went still. Lieutenant Mark Davies blinked. You speak that? She didn't respond. She negotiated, crisp, controlled, refusing aggression but projecting authority, not pleading, not apologizing. Equal, Hale's eyes narrowed. You're not reacting, he muttered. I am, Rachel replied. I'm just reacting correctly. The second fighter darted beneath them, testing. Rachel anticipated the wake turbulence and adjusted pitch a second before impact. The aircraft barely shuddered. Retired businessman Nikolai Voss, who had been loudly insisting he'd flown MiGs in his youth, slowly lowered himself into silence. Rachel's voice remained steady. Manila Center, Horizon 714 declaring medical emergency and hostile intercept. Request immediate coordination with U.S. naval assets. Hale leaned forward. You don't have the authority to. In an emergency, she said evenly, the acting pilot in command has absolute authority. That's Aviation Regulation 91.3. He stopped mid-sentence. The second fighter shifted position. He's testing our blind spot, she murmured. How do you know that? Davies asked. Before she could answer, the jet did exactly that. Rachel altered heading by 2 degrees and dropped altitude by 300 feet, subtle enough that passengers wouldn't notice, aggressive enough to disrupt the fighter's geometry. Master Chief Robert Lang, standing near the door, felt it immediately. That wasn't commercial training. That was combat positioning. Then a new voice entered the frequency. Horizon 714, this is Valor Strike Group. We are tracking you. Status? Rachel's hand hovered for a split second as if hearing something familiar. Then, Strike Group Horizon 714, 1 pilot down, 2 hostile interceptors, request escort. Copy that. Fighters inbound, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Fuel warnings blinked softly. The fighters tightened formation. In the cabin, a doctor stabilized Captain Pierce. Flight attendants tried to calm passengers as the jets roared past again, engines screaming. Rachel didn't sweat. She studied the interceptors like a chess player reading a board. When one feinted left, she adjusted before it completed the maneuver. When the other climbed to force a descent, she shifted vertical separation. Hale watched her hands. No panic, no wasted motion. Pull her file, he ordered Davies quietly. Davies checked the system. Rachel Bennett. Age 35, commercial hire 6 years ago, clean record, unremarkable. But when she reached overhead to adjust a switch, her sleeve shifted. Lang saw it first. A pale crescent scar near her wrist, an ejection scar. He leaned closer. Ma'am, civilians don't get those. She pulled her sleeve down. Old accident. Lang didn't argue, but he didn't believe her either. The interceptors grew more aggressive. Then finally, Horizon 714, this is Viper 1. We have you in sight. 2 F-18s burst through the clouds like guardian angels. The hostile jets drifted outward. Rachel exhaled for the first time in nearly an hour. The crisis wasn't over, fuel was low, captain unconscious. But the immediate threat was gone. They diverted to Anderson Air Base in Guam. The landing was flawless, smooth enough that most passengers wouldn't realize how close they had come to dying. On the tarmac, chaos awaited military officers, cameras, medics. Colonel Hale shook hands with a two-star admiral. "She handled herself adequately," he said, gesturing back toward the aircraft. The admiral's gaze shifted past him. Rachel descended the stairs. Her walk changed subtly the moment her boots touched military pavement. Straighter, sharper, recognizable, Admiral Thomas Kerr noticed. Later, in a quiet operations room, Kerr studied her. "You flew that aircraft like a strike pilot," he said. "Lucky guesses," she replied. "You accessed encrypted naval frequencies." "Coincidence." "You anticipated combat maneuvers," she held his gaze. "Training." "Training where?" Kerr asked quietly. Before she could answer, the door opened. Commander Ethan Cruz, one of the escort pilots, stepped inside. His eyes locked on hers, his expression drained of color. "It's you," he whispered. Silence. Kerr's voice cut in. "You know her," Cruz swallowed. She almost responded with a call sign. "What call sign?" He looked at Rachel. "Specter." The room went still. Admiral Kerr's face hardened. "Specter was declared killed in action 5 years ago." Rachel closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, the civilian mask was gone. "Lieutenant Commander Rachel Bennett," she said quietly. "Call sign Specter. Former instructor, Naval Advanced Tactics program." The silence was heavier this time. Cruz stared at her like he'd seen a ghost. "We buried you," he said. "I know." "What happened?" Rachel exhaled slowly. "Operation Iron Current. South China Sea. We intercepted a rogue naval task force running off book weapons transfers. USS Meridian discovered it. They were eliminated." Kerr's jaw tightened. "By whom?" "Senior officers, intelligence contractors. Our own, and you. I rescued 2 survivors. They gave me proof. Before I could report it, I was shot down." Cruz stepped closer. "We were told it was hostile action." "It was," she said. "Just not foreign. You faked your death. I didn't have to. They did it for me. I survived. And I realized if I stayed dead, I stayed alive." The room absorbed that. Kerr spoke carefully. "Do you still have the evidence?" "Yes." "Where?" "Hidden offshore," Cruz straightened. "Then we finish this." 2 days later, Rachel and Cruz lifted off in a single F-18 at dawn. Destination: a forgotten island chain where she had hidden the files 5 years earlier. Low altitude, minimal radar signature. They landed on a narrow stretch of sand. The cave was untouched. The waterproof container still hidden behind limestone. Inside, encrypted drives, recordings, coordinates, proof. They almost made it back to the jet. 3 armed men stepped from the tree line. "Commander Bennett," the leader said calmly. "You've been difficult to find." Rachel's jaw set. "Jake," she murmured to Cruz. "When I move, run." She dove first. Gunfire exploded. 1 attacker dropped. Cruz sprinted for the jet as ordered. He hated himself for it. Engines roared. He lifted off alone. Back at base, the evidence detonated like a bomb inside the Pentagon. Arrests followed within hours. Admirals, contractors, intelligence chiefs. The largest internal military corruption case in decades. But Rachel was missing. Then a signal came through. An old Navy frequency, Specter's frequency. She was alive, taken aboard a cargo ship moving toward international waters. This time they didn't send 1 jet. They sent a strike team. Under covering fire from Cruz and 2 fighters, a rescue unit boarded the vessel. Rachel fought alongside them, bruised, bleeding, unbroken. They brought her home. The conspiracy collapsed within 72 hours. Interrogations revealed deeper programs. Names, accounts, foreign contacts. In a ceremony weeks later, Rachel stood in dress whites, officially reinstated, promoted to commander, awarded the Navy Cross. Colonel Hale watched from the crowd, not clapping loudly, but clapping sincerely. Afterward, Cruz found her alone on the tarmac. "You could have walked away," he said. "I tried," she replied. "You coming back?" She looked at the flight line, engines roaring, jets launching into golden light. "I never really left." That night, alone in her quarters, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "You dismantled Iron Current," the voice said calmly. "Impressive. Who is this?" A continuation. Silence. "There are deeper operations, Night Vector, offshore assets, political leverage." "Is that a threat?" "It's an invitation." The line went dead. Rachel stood at the window, 5 years hiding, 1 hour saving a plane. 3 days dismantling a conspiracy, and something bigger still moving in the shadows. She pulled on her flight suit. Tomorrow she would teach again. Tomorrow she would train pilots. But tonight she understood something clearly. Ghosts don't stay buried, and neither do wars. Some battles are fought in the sky, others inside the system itself. Commander Rachel Bennett, call sign Specter, wasn't done flying, and she wasn't done fighting.